Welcome to Pera's Playbook. This is your host, Alex Pera. Let's open up our playbook and see who our guest is. Please enjoy. Welcome to episode 116 of Pera's Playbook. Today I'm joined by Bella Ranallo. She plays women's basketball at Clemson University, and basketball is just around the corner. So glad to have Bella on the podcast. How's it going tonight?
It's good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Are you getting excited for the season? We're pretty close.
I am next Monday.
Do you guys have an exhibition before that, or is that your
No, we
exhibition?
that's just our first game.
You guys don't have an exhibition, or
No, we've just had some scrimmages here and
okay?
there, but that's our first game.
Because I know a lot of schools have exhibition games this week
Hmm.
with D2 schools or smaller D1 schools or different stuff. But looking at your schedule, I didn't see anything on there, so I didn't know if it wasn't posted or if you guys just didn't have one.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's definitely crazy that it's almost basketball season. I can't
I
believe it.
know. Flew by.
Yeah. Well, before we talk about like this upcoming season and stuff, let's go back and talk about your recruiting a little bit. And when did like it really start for you? I mean, I feel like basketball, I mean, I guess with any sport, that like people hit growth spurts at different times. So like recruiting is up and down because like somebody might
Hmm.
not hit their growth spurt till they're a senior, and like I mean that's a big factor. Like there's so many different factors that play into recruiting. Like everybody's recruiting experience is different. Like when did it really kind of like start getting busy in recruiting for you?
Yeah, so I actually was very late to my recruitment and everything because I didn't fully go into travel basketball till probably my sophomore year, going into my sophomore year of high school was when I kind of took it seriously because I was also focused on softball because I didn't know which one I really wanted to play at the next level. But I I've always like been on teams, but not like fully. So I just started playing for a team called All in Illinois. But I didn't start talking to schools till my going into senior year, so very late, which is very different than everyone else, I feel like
Yeah.
nowadays. But yeah, I mean, everything worked out perfectly how it was supposed to, but it was very late for sure.
Was that a hard choice, the like basketball, softball choice?
Um, Once I got into high school, it kind of made it more obvious of what choice I wanted to, of course, basketball, but picking, like having to choose one was at first very tough because I was actually leaning towards softball at first, which now I didn't end up playing, but
Yeah. So going into your like recruiting so late, like was that pretty nerve-wracking and like kind of like panicking, like, oh my gosh, like everybody else knows what they're doing and like I'm a senior, I have no idea.
yes, for sure. I went to a couple camps. I went to Clemson camp, and that's when I've kind of like talked to the coaches before and stuff, and I went to the camp, and then that was kind of like deal breaker for me and stuff, and I was just go like having to talk like seeing all my teammates like already committed and stuff. I'm like was like pretty nervous. I'm like I have to get the show on the road. Like it's already senior year, but happened like probably the beginning of the basketball season when I chose to go to Clemson, so it kind of worked out perfectly.
What advice would you give to like an athlete if they were late in their recruiting? Somebody's like late in their recruiting, they're panicking. Like what would you tell them as somebody that's gone through that?
Yeah, just not to focus or compare yourself to other people. That's always like the worst. And I dealt with that a bit, like worrying, oh, they've been recruited, talking to coaches, why haven't I? It's just like you have to trust your process. And if that's talking to coaches later or even earlier, it's just how your plan is supposed to work out. So just trusting that, trust the process and how like everything should go. And then just to have like coaches reach out and stuff like that, just the little things.
Yeah, which is definitely easier said than done, right? Like
Yes.
what do we all panic and we all like freak out and we all get nervous and I mean, generally it works out in the end, and we like look back and you wish you couldn't have, you wish you would have not worried. You wish you
Of
could,
course, yeah.
but like it's not that easy. Um, I mean, obviously it worked out for you, and you're in a good spot. You're at a big school. You're playing D1 basketball, so like the fact that you started late didn't affect you at all. You still
Yeah,
made it there, so then it doesn't matter. It's like people who they're like they go undrafted in the NFL. Like you made it. It doesn't
exactly.
matter how you got there.
Exactly.
So once you're at Clemson and everything, like, did you think you were gonna get playing time your first year? Did you think you were gonna sit the bench the whole year? Like, where were you at kind of with that? Like, what did the coaches tell you?
I mean, I didn't think I would get much. We have a very older, we had like lots of seniors, so I knew there's just me and one other freshman that I wouldn't play as much. I got in a couple games, but yeah, I didn't. I was just like, I'm coming in and I'm just gonna work hard and then see where that takes me.
Yeah, just build your skills, develop as a
Exactly.
young player, and grow your spot on the team.
Yeah.
So did you know, but like the first game that you got in for a little bit, did you know you were gonna get in, or was it just like, hey, like get in there for a little bit?
No, I had no clue. I was so nervous, shaking. I I had like at the end of the game, like, oh, I might be going in. So I'm like, I gotta retie my shoes, like freaking out. And he's like, all right, Bella, come on. And I'm like, oh gosh, like, and it was a little kids game. So like all the nearby like middle schools came to this game. So like everyone's in Little John, like screaming little kids everywhere. And I'm like, the atmosphere is crazy. And
Yeah,
I was not ready for it.
yeah. Definitely. Well, you got your first points last year too, which is kind of exciting. Like you didn't get a
Yes,
ton of playing time, but you got your first basket, a three-pointer, like even more
yes.
exciting. So like take us through that moment, right? Like,
Yes, we were at a
how'd that happen?
Thanksgiving tournament and we we were winning by a good amount and then she's like, all right, Bella and Kylie come in, the other freshmen. So we get in the game and at first I think I had like one 3-point attempt before or whatever. So we're in a fast break, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no one's here. And my teammate passed up the ball, and I just caught it. I was like so nervous again, like, and I wasn't like used to it, and like so nervous I don't even like remember it, like to that point. But it just went in, and then the bench was crazy and stuff. And my family actually went to that tournament, but they had a flight, so that was our last game in the tournament. So they left before
Oh
that game, and they
no.
were like, "How did I miss this?" Like, of course we missed your first like bucket, all this stuff, and I'm like, "It's okay."
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
So is that your play? Like, are you a shooter? Is that kind of like
Yes.
your game?
Yeah.
Yeah. You like just threes, or I mean, like you like pull up jumpers and
No,
like I mean,
I'll do some jumpers. I'll drive a little bit. Just a little bit
yeah.
there.
Yeah. But is I mean shooting is what you work on the most, you'd say? I mean,
Lately shooting for sure, but like in high school, I was definitely labeled as a driver. Like whenever I get the ball, I'm more likely to put it on the floor first, but I've been trying to work on my shooting game a little bit.
yeah. So kind of changing your play style a little bit from high school to
Exactly.
now.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think that's something important? Like when you reach the D1 game is to kind of like diversify, like not just be stuck to like one, like I only drive the ball. Like you got to be like be able to do it all once you hit D1.
Yeah, and like it's whatever honestly your coach needs or wants, or if you need to focus on one thing, you just kind of get to pick, like want to pick one good thing you're really good at. So I've just been trying to work on my shooting and stuff like that, my form, all that stuff. But whatever your coach needs, honestly, and they tell you, like that's what you should 100% focus on.
Yeah. And what about your nerves now? Like you got a season under your belt, you got some playing time. Like going into this season, do you feel more comfortable, more like prepared and ready? Like you know what to expect?
Yeah, 100%. I have a new team too and coaches this year. So I feel like it's a clean slate and everything and just like confidence is just all there, so it's been fun.
Yeah. So if like first game rolls around and coach's like, Bella, you're in right now, you're ready to go, you're raring, you're just
100%. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's good. So like looking at this schedule here, I mean, you guys have a very tough schedule. I mean, being in any Power Five conference, you're gonna have a
Hmm.
tough schedule, ACC, Big Ten, whatever you're at. And you guys have some really hard non-conference games. I mean, you play some SEC opponents, Florida, South Carolina. I mean, they've been the premier women's basketball program for the past 10 years plus. I mean, like they're the
Yeah.
team that everyone wants to beat. Um, and obviously, like in college sports, you don't want to get too ahead of yourself. You kind of want
Hmm.
one game at a time. But it's hard not to look at the schedule and to see South Carolina and to think about that. So, like, have your coaches talked about that at all yet, or is it like that's too far down the road? We're not going to worry about that yet.
We talked about it, how like we have to do the little things. Yes, our team might not be as talented as them, but if we do the little things, do the right things, have good culture, and just be there for each other, that they could take us to good places and get some good wins under our belt.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing, like when teams play like a monster, like number one like that, is like the you kind of like you panic almost like, oh my gosh, they're so good, and then you
Hmm.
make mistakes and that's why you lose. It's not because
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they might have more talent, but
Hmm.
like you don't end up playing to your full potential because you're so worried about the fact that they're so good, and you like it kind of gets in your head. And
Yeah.
like that's why teams fall apart when they play a big team. It has nothing to do with like ability.
Exactly. And like you just have to like keep on reminding yourself in that aspect, like you have nothing to lose. Like
Right.
they're they're at the top, so they have more to lose than you. So you just have to keep that in mind and just go out there and have fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, give it your all, and I mean like no matter what, you can just better yourself. So even if you lose, there's so much that you can take out of that game, so much you can
Exactly.
learn playing an opponent. And then if you win, I mean, heck, now you're feeling great and like you're the
Exactly.
upsets and you're all over the news and like you're the team everyone's talking about. So I mean, the underdog is I've talked about this before. I'm a huge underdog guy. I always go for the underdogs. That's the place to be. I mean,
Hmm.
like, yeah, it's great to be on top, right? Everyone likes being the favorite. Everyone wants to be that program, that nationally known program. Everyone wants to get there. But underdog's a good place to be. Like it's nice to have that underdog mentality, that fight, and like never giving up and not having anything to lose. Just going in there and giving it all you got.
Exactly.
But so I mean like being in the ACC, right? Tough schedule. And you guys have a couple showcases in there too, right? Where you don't know who you're going to play necessarily because
Hmm.
you got one game, but then you don't know who you're going to play. So I mean like definitely a very hard schedule, but I mean when you get to D1 college ball, right? Any game is a losable game, right? Because everyone's a
Exactly.
D1 athlete
100%.
now. So I mean is that something that you're like coaches like kind of talk about going into each game? Like you really can't get your head like if you're playing a smaller school, like next week, your first game,
Hmm.
can't get your like head in the clouds like, oh, we're gonna go in there and we're just gonna crank them and it's gonna be easy.
100%. I think that at this level, everyone's good. So if you want to play down to a team or like not do as well and think it's gonna be an easy game, like the possibility of them actually coming to win, and especially being like a non-conference, like they're coming to win and to make us try to look bad. So it's just that you can't just like pass one game just because it's like a non-conference game. Like you have to take every game like we're playing South Carolina almost.
Right? Because when you're playing those little schools, even if you're not ranked, a win against you looks great for them. They're like, oh, we just
Exactly.
beat an ACC team. Like
Hmm.
that's what they want. They're coming
Yeah.
in with that underdog mentality. They're looking to ruin your parade now.
Hmm.
Is that first game for you guys at home?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Like you kind of start off at home, hopefully get a good crowd in there, start the season off good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So what's your like favorite thing about Clemson so far? Like as a team, as like a university, just like kind of everything. Like what do you like so like about Clemson? Like being there and just everything about it.
The atmosphere. It's just like nothing I've ever experienced. Like the way it's like a big family almost. And for basketball, love my team, love my coaches, so they just make the place great. But the atmosphere around everyone and just athletics is just, I can't even like explain it. Like you just have to be there. Like if it's if it's Saturday football game, like going to one of those, like everyone I have like friends that came here or whatever to like visit me, they're like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like I've never seen like an atmosphere of everyone like cheering and like wanting to belong to one thing altogether.
Yeah. You go to a lot of football games?
Yes, as many as I can go to.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the craziest atmospheres in college football. I mean, it's a place that people don't want to go into and play because it's one of those places where the crowd plays such a factor that like other teams you gotta practice with crowd noise pumped into your stadium because you got to be
Yes.
ready when you're going into Clemson because you know those fans are going to be so crazy
Yeah.
that you're going to have false starts and you're going to have miscues and guys running the wrong way. I mean, it just gets in your head too, right? Like all this screaming, all this noise, you can't turn it off.
Yeah. It's a great atmosphere for sure.
Yeah. And this year, the football teams kind of got like this, like people are counting them out because Dabo was not big in the transfer portal. So like everyone was like Clemson's not going to be good, right? Like he
Yeah.
needs to get with it. And right now they're rolling, right? They
Hmm.
lost to Georgia, but they've been rolling since. So I mean I mean Clemson athletics across the board. I mean it's a big like basketball, everything is good. Like it's an athletic university, high athletic programs, one of the best athletic programs in the ACC. So you get that across the board. But it's just that kind of like like right now with football, they kind of like a little chip on their shoulder. Like everyone was counting them out, and
Yeah.
that was like the worst thing you can do is count out Clemson.
Yeah.
Do you guys go to a lot of men's basketball games too? Like, are you the teams close? Do you support each other?
Yeah, for sure. We have a couple of double headers this season too, which will be fun. So we can just watch after our game or vice versa. But we try to go as many as we can. Of course, not away because we have our own busy
Right.
schedule, but we almost go to all the home games.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm a big Notre Dame guy, so I always got
Uh
I pull for Notre Dame. Can't pull for Clemson in those instances, especially on the men's side. Like Clemson in I feel like last year like Clemson was they were really good men's
yeah.
ACC team, and like Notre Dame was not. So it was,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, I mean ACC basketball is one of the best conferences, like men's and women's. There's a lot of great teams that come out and go into the tournament. It's like one of those, it's a basketball conference. I mean, there's
For
good
sure.
football schools, there's good volleyball schools, but it's definitely a basketball conference.
For sure.
Was that appealing to you in your recruiting? Like going to play in a conference where like every week's going to be a battle and your competition is good every week?
I mean, it for sure was, I wouldn't say it would be like a fat like I was looking for good conference and stuff, but like I didn't know much like about how it actually was till being in the conference. But now knowing about everything, like it would play a good role in it.
Right. Like so if you knew what you know now, like or like, if somebody was asking you like, hey, like, like I watch it on TV, but how good is it actually? And
Hmm.
now firsthand you can be, yeah, it's pretty
Definitely
good.
ACC all the way. Yeah.
Yeah, ACC all the way. So, who's your favorite basketball player of all time?
All time.
Or
Uh,
current, I guess, if you can't think of like who do you like, is there somebody you like now, like you like watching their game or
Kelsey Plum.
okay. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about favorite team, like NBA or WNBA?
Um, well, NBA would have to be the Bulls, Chicago, and then WNBA would have to be Sky. So I gotta rock with the hometown. So
Hey, you never know. There's sometimes people like totally against their hometown teams and they're rooting for somebody else. I always got to
yeah.
ask. What's your favorite sport like after basketball?
Softball,
Softball.
for
Still.
sure. Yeah.
So do you get big into like watching the College World Series and like some of that?
Yeah. Me and my dad normally watch that together, so
Yeah. That's
yeah.
that's underrated. I feel like
Hmm.
totally underrated. People talk about March Madness and the college football playoff and all this stuff, but like College World Series for softball and baseball are really underrated. They don't, I mean, there's some
100%.
that's
They get
really
no,
impressive.
yeah. They get they need to have more like publicity around it,
Yeah.
but it's really cool to watch.
Yeah, softball, D1 softball is incredible. I went to an Arizona game at their home place. I mean, Arizona is usually really good, and it was impressive to watch. I mean, like the skill level is just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like some people probably watch their like local high school team, and that's like their definition of softball. But like, no,
Softball.
like
Yeah.
you like go watch a D1 game, and you'll be blown away at the like
Yeah,
just the skill level.
for sure.
So in a non-basketball, I noticed on your Instagram you've been to Italy. Are you big into traveling or?
Yes, a little bit. I mean, when I can go places, would I'd take the opportunity to, but my family, we're all Italian and my grandparents from Italy, so we all took a trip for like I think it was 10 days or something, and we went all around Italy, like the northern parts. So it was really cool to see.
What was the highlight of the trip? And it's
Um,
probably hard to pick.
the food was really good. Um, but just seeing like the different towns almost, like cities. Like we went to Venice, we went to Lucca. So we just went to different, like went to the beach one day. So just seeing all the different, like how you could be literally in the rural area, but then you could be in like Venice where it's, there's not really, you can't really drive. Like you're going around places in a boat. So
Yeah,
it's
totally.
very,
I mean, like the thing about Europe is like when you look at like the way the cities are designed and built because
mhm,
they're all so old, and then you like go to a city in the US. I mean, it's so
so different.
polar opposites.
Hmm.
It's just wild, like the architecture and like walking down the street and you see these like bars and restaurants that are like 400 years old or something like crazy, like they're
Yeah.
still in business and then like they've been open since 1500 or something crazy. I mean, and then you're in the States and people are proud that they've been like family owned since 1980. It's like a
Yeah.
totally different thing.
Yeah, for sure.
What about food? Like food, what was your favorite thing to eat when you were over there?
Um, the pasta, but one of the best was like lobster pasta. That was really good. The bread, it's really good. McDonald's. I went to get McDonald's for breakfast one day because we're going to a different like city, so we had to like quickly get something to eat. Pa- Pastries lined up, like the healthiest and like healthiest McDonald's I've ever seen. It had like chocolate croissants like straight out of the oven from a bakery. It had like tiramisu. It had all this stuff. Like the pancakes were like homemade pancakes. And I'm like, this is crazy. Why doesn't the US have this?
Yeah, it blows the McDonald's down the road out of the water.
For real.
Was it so like was there anything that tasted like the US McDonald's or was it all just completely different?
I mean, I didn't have like a cheeseburger and like fries and stuff, but it just tasted like healthier. Like,
Yeah. Well, it
and
probably
just,
is.
yeah, and like lighter, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I know they have like different menus like around the world. You can go to different
Hmm.
spots. Like when I was in high school, we had a travel club and we went to England, Ireland, and Wales. And I can't remember we were in Ireland or England, and like somebody went to a McDonald's and they were talking about the different stuff on the menu. And I was just like, why would you go to McDonald's? We're in Ireland. Like that's dumb. But like I get it for like if you're traveling and you need like something quick for breakfast and you're like on the
Yeah.
move. Like I mean, it makes sense. And now that you like mentioned that, it's like completely different. I mean, it actually kind of neat to like
I was like,
not just McDonald's.
I have to see this. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
Do they have
okay.
Happy Meals over there?
Uh, I didn't see it, but it was also like the breakfast section, so
So you couldn't get like some like Italian toy that you probably could have like sold on eBay as like
yeah, no.
some like
But
novelty or something.
yeah, no, but the no ice water, that's what got me.
What?
They like you just get bottled water. There's no like ice water.
So you don't know vending machine like or like the whatever machine where you like stick your cup under, you fill your ice, and
No.
then
And there's like no AC in some spots. And we went in August, so it was like 100 degrees. And we're
yeah.
like trying to go to bed with like the windows open and like the wind blowing in to at least be cool. And I'm like, I'm struggling. I don't know how people do this.
I feel like that is a huge thing about like Europe is like a lot of the hotels are like old. They're old
Yes.
buildings and they like don't like you said they don't have AC. Like you travel in the States, you're gonna go stay at the Hilton or whatever, and it was like built
Yeah.
10 years ago, it's got AC and you're like you're set. Like over in
Yeah.
Europe, you're staying at this like bed and breakfast or this like family-owned hotel and it's super old and they don't have
Yeah.
anything modern than box TV and like,
For sure.
but I mean I guess that's part of the experience.
Yeah. Everyone has to see it at least once.
Yeah, yeah, definitely got to go somewhere in Europe. So you a big music person? I end every episode on music because I'm a big music guy. I like to talk music.
I am. I always have to be listening to music.
What's your go-to like vibes?
Um, I get like I listen to like either rap or it'll be like country, but I'll like hate rap, so I'll just listen to country until I get sick of country and then go back to rap. So like right now, I'm on like country vibe.
Okay, what's
So
a specific song that you're like really into right now?
uh Wild as Her by Corey Kent. Do you know that song?
Nope. I'm not a huge country guy, like modern country. Like
Gotcha.
I don't know. I like Lil Zach Bryan. I like Tyler Childers, but like I don't feel like they like fit the mainstream country
I feel
vibe
like they're more
either. Like
like folk, like
right.
campfire
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah. So like I like that, but like I don't know, I'm not a big Morgan Wallen guy or Luke Combs or like
That one gets me. I love
I've had
one.
many conversations with people on the podcast about how like Morgan Wallen's a fake country singer. Like he's a pop singer with country vibes. Like he's like
Mm.
trying too hard to like go the other way. I can see the like steam building up. You're like ready to burst.
I listen to him way too much. My teammates
I
are
I
like,
know people love him. Like he is wildly popular, and I think it's because he's got like multiple vibes going. Like he's not just pure country.
yeah,
Like so many people that like him, like a couple of years ago, they would have been like, I hate country, but like I
yeah,
mean, I
now,
give the guy credit. Like it's smart to like kind of mix
mm.
genres. I mean, he has a few songs that kind of have like rap vibes going on, and it's like
Yeah, now he's doing stuff like Post Malone
right.
country, and I'm like, what's going on?
That's how you like build your audience. That's how you get
Exactly.
huge. Because you look at all the other country singers, and it's like they were popular to country people. Like
Hmm.
nobody else cared. You go
Yeah,
on Spotify and be like, oh, they got like 10 million like listeners or whatever.
yeah,
But like you look at Morgan Wallen, and he's just like, I feel like everybody knows who he is at least, even if you don't like him. Everybody knows who he
100%.
is.
Yeah, for
So you
sure.
said you like bounce back and forth between country and rap. Do you ever like warm up to country? Is that ever your like pump up music? Is
No,
that no?
I'll like if I'm just shooting in the gym, I'll listen to country. But if I'm about to go to a basketball game, like before, I can't. Maybe like one song, but the rest have to be rap. Like
Yeah.
be pumped up enough.
Do you guys have a team playlist or does everybody have their own like headphones on and kind of like in their own zone?
Like for games are own music, but like for practice, we play music all the time.
Do you guys
So
share aux or
so my teammate Tessa Miller, she basically added all the songs. So one of the uh someone on the staff just connects to the speaker and like plays our shared album.
yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Is it mostly rap?
Yeah, all of it actually it is.
Yeah. Yeah. No country or anything else on there.
Yeah, definitely not.
Hey, you never know. I feel like somebody out there's got to be like lifting weights to country. Like that's their vibe. That's what gets them
We'll lift
going.
sometimes to like country
Oh,
or
okay. So lift, but not like practice. Like,
yeah, no. or like 2000 music. We'll listen to some of that like when we're lifting, all singing together, but yeah,
Yeah.
not one.
Kesha, Taylor Swift, Katy
Yeah,
Perry, like that kind
exactly.
of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. All right, well, Bella, I appreciate you hopping on the podcast here. Good luck with the season coming up. It's kind of I'm excited. I love this is like the best time of year as a sports fan. You got college football, NFL, NBA, NHL, college basketball, college is literally something for everyone.
Exactly.
So yeah, thanks for coming on the pod.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for more episodes soon.